What is going on, hobby family? It is your boy K-Dub, and this is K-Dub's High Five, 5 rapid fire questions with your favorite hobby faces. And today we have a true hobby legend. He's an OG in the Twitter hobby game, often imitated, never duplicated, the king of the stack sales on Twitter, my man Dan at DMN Takeover. How are you doing today, dude?
I'm doing great. How are you, K-Dub?
Oh, I'm fantastic, man. I appreciate you joining me. How this works, I'm going to throw 5 hobby-related questions at you, one right after another. You can answer as long or short as you see fit. You ready to take on the high five?
I'm ready.
All right, man. Here we go. First question. The Takeover is huge on Twitter. How did you come up with this idea? How did you create it? You know, what kind of brain juices were flowing when you came up with this idea?
Yeah, well, it spawned off of me just like finding such a good card community on Twitter. And my previous like background had been a touring musician. So I really just always liked the idea of being someone who builds a fan base or a community around something and then being super involved in that community. So I basically wanted to just take the exact same model I'd used back in those days and build that around something new. And that's kind of how the Takeover came to form. I saw a few people like kind of throw up cards here and there on Twitter. Yeah. And it would just be like here and there. And I was like, I think I can do this like at a larger, like consistent scale, and just decided to go with it.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, let's talk about the cards piece. Kind of thinking about your hobby journey. You obviously collect cards. Who have been some of your biggest influences in your hobby journey, whether that be personally collecting or as you kind of moved into more hobby business?
Yeah. Well, I have to list an influence. First of all, is my great grandma who even got me into collecting cards.
Okay.
She gave me my first ever card. So that's who started it all. The Takeover wouldn't even be a thing without her. But as far as like the actual hobby goes, I would say probably my biggest influence, both from like business side, personal side, just good person side, would be Ivan Watch the Breaks.
Oh, yeah.
He was the first person to, when I hop in, be like, kind of just bring me in and like, I guess like hold my hand, like walking into this thing. Cause it can be like a little intimidating walking into like a culture or subculture sometimes. And he was the guy that like guided me the whole way. And he's just always been such a good dude and like so kind and welcoming and all those things.
Absolutely, man. I mean, he was my second guest on the High Five. He's a dude that I think a lot of us look to as our one of our hobby influences for sure. So thinking about the collecting of cards, is there a card that's in your collection? I mean, you kind of mentioned the card from your grandma, but is there a card that's in your collection that's your favorite card, or is there a card that maybe you've always wanted but you've never been able to get?
Yeah, I think as far as in my collection, I'm a huge Baltimore Ravens fan, so I collect anything Baltimore Ravens. Okay. It would probably be, I don't remember exactly what products, but I have this really cool like logo patch auto of Deion Sanders when he played for the Ravens.
Heck yes.
So that goes hand in hand because Deion's one of my favorite players.
Yes.
A lot of people forget that he was on the Ravens briefly. So it's like a cool, I like those cards of like players who ended up on teams like who weren't the ones we thought of. Like I'm always interested in like Emmitt Smith, Arizona Cardinals cards, or like, so that Deion Ravens card like really speaks to me.
Heck yeah.
But as far as like card that I would really like to get, I think back to when I was first reading Beckett as a kid, and I was always like really mesmerized by, it was like these upper deck piece of the game floor Michael Jordan autographs that were numbered out of 23. I'm trying to remember what the series was actually called, but I have like a very vivid picture in my mind, and I kept seeing those in like Beckett as like those like top cards to watch kind of thing. And,
Heck yeah, now you'd probably be watching it from the floor as it's skying to the ceiling in prices. But back then it was probably a little bit different. But man, you have to post that Deion Sanders auto when you get back to your house, because I want to see it. I love Deion.
I will.
One of my all-time favorites as well. I got an autograph in a Niners uniform of Deion, but I haven't seen very many Baltimore Ravens, so I would love to see that. So, all right, well, let's talk about bigger now. When we talk about cards, is there a product that you just love, or if you had an option to break any box that you wanted to, what box would you rip and why?
Yeah, I'm going to answer that question two parts. There's one that's like achievable for me, but I just haven't done it. But 2011 Topps Platinum Football is the box that I first broke when I got back into collecting. So it would like be a really nice memory to rip that again.
Well, heck yeah.
But as far as like the one that would be like a dream that I cannot afford nor find would probably be, I think it would be super cool to rip like 2003 Exquisite Basketball, which I'm sure a lot of people agree with. But like, it's not even just about LeBron or like the fact that Wade and Carmelo would be in there. There's even things like one of my other favorite players is Ben Wallace, and that would have been like a very prime Ben Wallace era. Or, like I think it would just be cool to see what comes out of there. Even like the rookies who didn't make it. Like if you pulled an RPA of them, like it would just be a cool memory kind of deal.
Heck yeah, man. I love it. I love it. So your 2011 Topps Platinum, did you pull any big hits out of there? I mean, that's like Julio and Cam Newton and.
Yeah. I remember pulling an X-Fractor rookie Cam out of there.
Okay.
I pulled a dual rookie like patch auto of two guys that was numbered out to 25 that both didn't make it. Both like had pretty injury stricken rookie years. But it was still really cool.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. All right. Last question we got on the high five here. Thinking of your kind of takeover brand that you're honestly you've created here. What are you most excited about kind of moving forward, hobby related into 2022 with your takeover brand?
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see like the direction the hobby's going, because I feel like every day we learn something new about, I don't know, like such and such company buys up this, or they have a plan for this. And like, I'm really interested in all the new people coming in. I know for some people that can be a little bit of a like, are they going to bring a bunch of change? Is it like scary or whatever? But like the fact is like, without that change and without the new people, like we wouldn't be thriving. Like even if it's just, new people are important. Like I'm just such a big fan of like letting them in, and like maybe some people go about it in a crappy way, but I think those people kind of like end up pushing themselves out in the end. So as far as like the takeover, I just want to continue being one of those people that like welcomes people in the way that other people welcomed me in. I'm excited for my wife left her full-time job and works for me with the takeover now.
Oh, wow.
And she's been like coming up with some of the coolest ideas, and like she has such a business mind but a creative mind too. She was an art student. So she just comes up with these wacky ideas that I haven't even like followed through on yet. I'm just really excited to do. And there's like some of the ideas that pop into my head, sometimes I'll be like ripped out of sleep at like 2 a.m. So like they're like ideas I don't even have yet. I'm excited to find out what those ideas are. So a lot of my excitement is in the unknown.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic, man. That's fantastic. All right, I got one bonus question for you. It's amazing how certain things kind of correlate with people in their social media, especially on Twitter. And Unfrosted Pop-Tarts and you have become like unanimous, like together. How did that happen?
I have truly, ever since I was a child, been a fan of the Unfrosted Pop-Tarts.
Okay.
I don't know. I just like being kind of a ridiculous person, because I feel like when you like show your silly side, people truly get to know you, and it like brings so much character to the table. And I feel like I can't even remember the day when it like went the hardest. I think there was a day where I changed my profile picture to the Pop-Tarts thing, but I don't even remember why I decided to do that.
Yeah.
It was just like, and then it took off to the point of like, I mean, I do have a true love for Unfrosted Pop-Tarts. I think the bit is beginning to be bigger than my actual love for Unfrosted Pop-Tarts. And I will just continue going with it because I'm a fan of people doing silly, ridiculous things.
Heck yeah, man. I love it. Well, I look forward to it. I know there's many of us who just kind of, you and Unfrosted Pop-Tarts are just like, they're just gelled together forever. So
it's a fun hill to die on.
All right, man. That's all I got. We got a high five at the end of Caleb's high five. I appreciate you so much joining me, man. You can follow Dan on Twitter at DMN Takeover. Also, if you're bored, you can click follow me at Mr. Caleb. Always remember, be the good in the world. Man, Dan, I'm so excited to hear what the takeover is going to bring into 2022. And thanks so much for joining me. And we'll see you guys next time on the next high five.
This is a demo sound of freeintromusic.com.